Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our webinar today. This webinar is organized with the EU-funded project Incite-Dem, Inclusive Citizenship in a World of Transformation, Co-Designing for Democracy. The project is coordinated by the School of Sciences at the University of Lisbon. And today's session is titled Exploring Democracy Through Play, the Democracy Labs game. My name is 𝗂𝗻𝗋, and I will be moderating today's session. And it is my pleasure to introduce our speakers today, 𝗿𝗵𝗆-𝗋𝗆, Alisa Peklicheva, and Daniel Rabin-Peniche. We are all from Tallinn University in Estonia. David will begin by introducing the Democracy Labs and Incite-Dem project goals. Daniel will then discuss the rationale behind creating the Democracy Labs game, and Alisa will conclude with an overview of the game and the principles that guide it. And after the presentation, I will conclude by talking about the authors and contributors of this project. So let's presentation by 𝗿𝗵𝗆.
Thank you, Julia, and welcome everyone. So as Julia mentioned, I will just provide a brief overview both of the project and the work that we did within the project in our small corner. So the main goal of the project is to enhance inclusive participation and civic engagement through democratic innovation. So that's, like, in a nutshell, this is it. There's a bit more to the project, I would say, many more outcomes and work being done, but this is the core of the project. As you can see from the slide now being shown, there are a number of objectives guiding our work, 7 to be precise. Ours is number 4. And in this number 4 objective, then our goal is to experiment with inclusive design processes for democratic innovation. Within the project, this was formerly known as Work Package 4. It fulfills Objective 4 in the project, which is to experiment with inclusive design processes for democratic innovation. And our key performance indicator, also number 4, are the running of the Democracy Labs and the realization of this capstone event, which is one of the sessions taking place in Brussels shortly after New Year. In this work package, we had 5 main tasks. I will not go over them extensively, but basically we start by putting together research protocol and the materials that would allow us to enact this research protocol. Then we would make it all happen. This is task 4.3, Democracy Labs in Action. And then in tasks 4.4 and 4.5, the final 2 tasks, we would go back to participants with some of the ideas and finally work on our final outcomes. So this, in a nutshell, is what the work package is all about. Connected with this work package are many other partners, and there were contributions, extensive contributions throughout the process, namely in the participatory nature through which the protocol was put in place. So the Democracy Labs protocol was put in place, and how the Democracy Labs toolkit was also co-created between all of us. So this was not one person led design initiative. It was rather a collective exercise supported by frequent, recurrent, and sometimes, let's say, harsh discussions between all participants until the moment where we were able to align our understandings about the nature of the exercise that we were about to engage with. Deliverables were 4, as I mentioned. Generative design toolkit, the prototypes, a report on the collection of individual and collective narrative imaginaries, and then the design fiction products. And we are today focusing on these design fiction products. The labs were piloted within us in the very beginning of 2024. We did it together in Groningen in person. We ran a mock of the entire process from the very beginning, the sensitizing period, to the very end. The co-creation of democratic innovations. It was a fun exercise. It allowed us all to fully grasp what was happening. Our key goals were more transparent and inclusive participation and engagement, stronger and open feedback mechanisms to and from citizens and representatives of democratic innovations, and then to account for a context of ongoing digital and ecological transformations. So it was quite ambitious, I would say, in terms of scope. And all of this has been kind of materialized in the toolkit we put together. I believe, Julia, that you are lagging behind a little bit. I was already kind of discussing the next slide. Yeah. Maybe jumping to the map now so that we can let our listeners understand what we did. Yeah. So we deployed the labs in 6 participating countries. We started actually from the very north, from Norway, and then we jumped around a little bit. Portugal, I don't recall the order specifically, but in Portugal, Germany, Slovenia, Italy, and Spain were all involved. The numbers in circles you can see currently being displayed are the number of participants per country. Our initial aim was to aim for 30 participants per country, roughly 15 citizens, and then some representatives of local democratic innovations and some policymakers in the mix as well, so that the discussion could be plural. And this is how we kind of went on with our data collection and stimulation of participants. As I mentioned before, then 4 deliverables were produced, and today we are focusing on the final one that you can see on the screen, on this deliverable 4.4. All of the deliverables will be available on the website, on the project's website at some point. So they are all public documents, and from the moment that they are formally accepted, and derivative articles are written and submitted, and the deliverables are open to all for you to consume. As far as I understand, already deliverable 4.1 and 4.2 are available, and then 4.3 will be available shortly, and also 4.4 the moment it gets approved. Today we are focusing on 4.4, yeah, design fiction products. And I think that's it in terms of context. I will now hand over the microphone to Daniel so that he can briefly go over the rationale that took us from the results we collected from citizens to the products that Alicia will be mentioning shortly after Daniel.
Thank you, David. So our main goal here was to develop design fiction products, and this is basically what we call diegetic prototypes, which mean are artifacts, scenarios, narratives, elements that bring people into a possible future that they can then explore and they can make sense of it. And how we build them was taking the main output from the democracy labs, which were the socio-technical imaginaries. So we built the 4 stories that were briefly shown before, and well, we built 6. We basically work with these 6 stories, and then we replicated the democracy labs, let's say, invitation, not the experience. So the invitation to have people that were involved or were related in a similar way to read the stories, to engage with them, and to reflect on them, to participate in helping us refine these stories and making them more solid. It was 253 participants between the countries previously mentioned. And what we find out is that participants didn't treat the stories as the finished artifacts. They wanted to engage with them. They really wanted to work around them. They consistently behave as co-authors, not as consumers. They were not just inhabiting them, they were criticizing them, they were expanding them, they were making them more complex, and they were making them alive. And that was for us a huge moment of revelation. We have been working towards building a more set of fixed stories that we could share, and then we could provoke people into thinking. And what people were telling us is that they didn't want stories, but prompts. They didn't want stories, but a way to make their own stories. They didn't needed us to make stories. They needed us to help them make them. So these products couldn't be static. Audience wanted something dynamic. And this goes back to some of the tensions we identified. People want participation, people want engagement and empowerment with the citizens. And that's how we decided to build something quite special, which is a narrative engine in the shape of a game. It's a way where people can come together, explore potential problems and solutions, and then make their own solutions by just playing with their friends. And we are going to show a little bit of how the game looks like when you are taking it out of the box right now. Julia, please.
Mm-hmm.
So now I will let my colleague Alisa explain how the game works and how she built it. She was the main designer. We were helping all of us, but she's our star in this presentation.
Okay, thank you everyone, and hello. I will describe the Democracy Labs game. And this is a collaborative card-based tabletop series game. It serves as a conversation starter and ideation tool. Players use cards to explore democratic tensions and co-create possible democratic innovations. The game is played in small groups of 2 to 5 people and takes about 60 minutes. It can be self-guided, for example, in classroom or in community space, or facilitated as part of a workshop. As the game is collaborative, players only win if they agree on feasible, innovative, and values-aligned solution to their shared problem. So the focus is not just to generating ideas, but also on negotiating them and reaching a joint decision. All materials are printable, modular, and available as open access downloads. The decks can be adapted, expanded with new cards, so the game can be played in different contexts. So the main elements of the game are short instructions, several card decks, and set of boards. First, there is instruction that explain the rules and overall flow of play. Second, there are card decks, role, problem, scale, values, implementation, action, ideation, and glimpse to the future cards. I will say more about each of them in a moment. And there are boards that help players organize the card sets, structure the process, and position their ideas on an innovation feasibility matrix. So role cards assign each player a different perspective. For example, an innovator is asked to look in the near future and consider social and technological trends. A government representative thinks about resources and feasibility, and a resident focuses on everyday impacts, fairness, and access when discussing innovative solutions. These roles help players step a little bit outside their usual viewpoints. Problem cards describe democracy-related challenges to work on, such participation barriers or digital divide. Scale cards specify whether the challenge is addressed at local, regional, or national level. This encourages the group of players to think about scope and who needs to be involved. Value cards highlight values such as inclusivity or trust. Players identify which value are at risk for this particular problem and which values they need to design for. Please, yes. Implementation cards present solution ideas that players can react to and build on. These are not fixed answers, but starting points for discussion about how to address the problem. Action cards provide prompts to adapt, strengthen, or combine those implementation ideas. And glimpse to the future cards offer short visual and textual glimpse for possible futures. They are there to spark imagination and open up new direction for ideas. And finally, ideation cards are blank templates. Players use them to capture their own ideas and proposals, which later become the concrete innovations that players will evaluate together. Please, next. This slide shows the overall game flow in the simple steps. First, each player takes a role card and adopts that role perspective. Then the players draws a problem card and a scale card and review the values cards, prioritizing which ones are the most important for this situation. Next, each player takes 3 implementation cards, and each player reflects on their own cards and then chooses one implementation card to keep. They briefly explain their choice and option to other players. And implementation cards are building blocks, not the final solutions. It can inspire further ideas, and they should be modified. Then each player takes an action card, which helps them to boost or adjust ideas, and glimpse to the future mini deck is integrated into the action cards. So each player then uses ideation cards to generate and write down their own ideas, and all players compare and discuss their ideas and proposals on the innovation feasibility matrix. They look how innovative and feasible each idea is and try to agree on one solution to the problem that is both innovative and feasible enough. They also bring back the priority values and check which value are covered and which are not covered by their solution. If they reach an agreement, everyone wins. If not, they lose. And now I will highlight a few examples. of where the game can be used. And one use case is awareness building in public or community events that focus on democratic challenges. The game format can create a safe space where people can articulate their expectation and negotiate different perspectives. They speak through the roles and the cards, which often makes sensitive topics easier to discuss. This works well in settings such libraries, community or youth centers, or tabletop gaming spaces. Another use case is in educational and research. In teaching, the game can be integrated in courses on democracy, civic education, public policy, or design. The game encourages students to collaborate, engage in creative problem solving, and take different perspectives. For researchers, each play session can generate insightful materials that can be analyzed to understand how people imagine, negotiate, and justify democratic futures. Okay. Another use case is institutional contexts. Public institutions can use the game in event workshop that bring together policymakers, staff, citizens. It offers a shared format for talking about democratic participation, and it does not require a complex facilitation. The game encourages negotiation of trade-offs and value conflicts. Because everything happens in low stakes, speculative space, and participants can explore their ideas that might feel too risky in a normal meeting. This can help institutions test new ideas for democratic participation and better understand which conditions are necessary for these ideas, for ideas to be trusted and accepted. And all materials for the game are freely available online on the web page. Has open access downloads and can be adapted. This decks cards can be expanded with new cards or themed sets. New scenarios are created, and the game might be translated in other languages. So thank you for the listening, and if someone decides to use the game in their own contexts, we would be happy to hear about your feedback and experience, and this will help us continue improving the game. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Alyssa, so much for your presentation. Thank you, David and Daniel, for your presentations. And before closing today's webinar, I would like to acknowledge the authors of Democracy Labs and Democracy Labs game, as well as contributors. We have a long list. As far as the authors, this is our team here from Tallinn University, in addition to 𝗀𝗰𝗵𝗆 and Claudia Diaz, who are also authors. And we also have offers coming from University of Lisbon, Ines, Sandra and João. We also have offers from Münster University, Vanessa, and Erika Löfström from Norwegian University of Science and Technology. But we also have a long list of contributors coming from Kyoto Club in Italy, Focus Group from Slovenia, Eco Union from Spain, and University of Groningen in Netherlands. Overall, we have 10 partners in Incite-Dem project, so we are all very much thankful to all authors and contributors. And if you have more questions or you would like to be in touch with us, please follow our social media links and our main Incite-Dem.eu website, where you can find our contacts. And we will be always happy to answer any questions in relation to Incite-Dem project and the Democracy Lab game and Democracy Labs. So thank you so much again for your time, and hope to hear from you. Bye.